Hey, what's up you guys? It's Caboose bringing you another video on the Batman. And today what I got for you guys here are some rumors that apparently a test screening has taken place for the Batman, and a Twitter user out there has reported what he's heard from this test screening. It's all alleged, nothing's confirmed, but we're gonna jump in and talk about some of the things that were mentioned regarding the Batman. Before we get into everything though, I wanted to ask you guys, of course, if at any point you enjoy the video, if you could consider leaving a like rating on it, it would show your support, and I would really appreciate it. So if you enjoy the video at any point, or if you're hyped for the Batman, like everyone is, leaving a like rating on the video would be awesome. Also, if you're new here and you want to keep up to date on everything going on with this film, I got you covered. I'll be making videos on news and updates regarding the Batman. I'll be reacting to upcoming trailers and footage that we're going to get between now and March 2022 when the film releases. And I'll be bringing you even more topic videos like this one. So if that sounds good to you, also consider hitting that subscribe button as well as the notification bell to be immediately notified when a video goes live. Lastly, wanted to remind you guys that I'm sponsored by G Fuel. Get yourself some tubs, some shaker cups, some starter kits, some cans. The link is going to be in the description box below. Just make sure if you grab anything from G Fuel that you use code Caboose at checkout. And with all that being said, let's get into this. Okay, so all the information in this video is coming from a Twitter user by the name Blu-ray Angel. And I understand that some people are already going to be commenting, really, Caboose, the source is a Twitter user? I get it, okay? I get it, which is why I'm going to tell you guys that everything I'm going to talk about here, you should take with a grain of salt. Nothing is officially confirmed. However, this thread that Blu-ray Angel had put out on Twitter has got a lot of traction. It's gained a ton of traction. A lot of people are talking about it, and some people are starting to believe the things that they're hearing. And to be honest, albeit what's being told here is a little vague, it sounds accurate. It sounds like it lines up with what we've seen, the limited footage that we've seen from that first trailer. So we're gonna go over the things that are mentioned here, but of course, as I said, take everything with a grain of salt. So let's get into this. So the person who reached out to Blu-ray Angel said, quote, "The Batman movie is a horror movie. Very graphic, very dark, very scary. Paul Dano, as the Riddler, is effing crazy. So effing scary. I loved every second." That right away, you give me that pitch. If anybody who's seen the movie actually gives me that pitch, I'm sold. Sign me the hell up for this movie. A dark noir Batman film where he has to rely solely on his detective skills to take down a serial killer type murderer like the Riddler sounds intense. And apparently it's going to be dark. It's going to be scary, almost even a horror movie. I'm down for this version of the Batman. Matt Reeves seems to be really bringing us something that we're all going to go crazy about. Apparently the cut that this person had seen for the test screening was 3 hours long. And now granted, this is probably going to be trimmed down, especially if it was a test screening. This is something where I wouldn't say this information is going to end up being true. So if the movie is not 3 hours long, don't take all the information I'm going to provide for you guys here to be false, because it's a test screening. Usually that's what happens. They test you a longer version of the film, and some people are going to say, that scene didn't really work for me. That scene didn't really need to be in the movie, and so on and so forth until they trim down the movie. I'd say when the Batman comes out, expect it to be around that 2.5 to 2:45 range. Now, albeit, again, very vague, but this person's thoughts on Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman is, I have a million things to say about Catwoman. She's my favorite. Holy crap. Definitely my favorite Catwoman. Super vague, so it doesn't really confirm anything, doesn't really give us any information. But if this test screening does end up being true, like if it did actually happen and this person got to see the movie, they're singing some really high praises about everyone involved so far. Apparently they're saying that Robert Pattinson's voice as Batman is perfect, and this is one that we can kind of provide our own opinion about. We've already heard what Robert Pattinson's Batman sounds like, at least one little snippet, and I think the voice is great as well. I really dig that it's not a voice changer. It's not Christian Bale going, "Where's the trigger?" You know, nothing crazy like that. Just Robert Pattinson bringing his voice down a couple of octaves and sounding hella intimidating after beating the living crap out of some dude.
I'm vengeance.
When talking about the Batmobile, this person said, holy effing crap, that effing Slade. I love the enthusiasm that this person has after having seen this test screening. I am really excited about this movie, and the Batmobile looks so cool, in my personal opinion. I love that it's very much like a prototype. This is year 2 Batman, based on some of the rumors that are out there, based on what some journalists and some official sources have said about the movie. This is year 2 for the Batman, and the Batmobile very much reflects that. It is his early days. It's just a muscle car with some enhancements. I think that's really cool. I dig it. And now here they've also provided their closing opinion about the movie. There's going to be more we're going to talk about, but this here specifically is, I guess you can say, considered a spoiler. It's very vague. Even like someone like myself who's really looking forward to the Batman, I don't look at this as a spoiler, just something that is a vague opinion and their closing opinion about the movie, but talks specifically about a part in the movie without any details. So if you don't want to be spoiled, or if you don't even want to know about any opinions regarding something that may happen towards the end, well then you can click off this video now. Although again, really light in terms of a spoiler, not anything that's actually a spoiler in my personal opinion, but it's up to your own discretion. Spoiler alert here, they say that their closing opinion is that there's a scene at the end that literally had everyone screaming in all caps. Everyone gasped like it was a big no way for everyone. I don't give an F about Batman or DC, and even I clenched down to a knee and was shook. It's the biggest mic drop. Now, what exactly that could be, I don't know. That could be some sort of setup for the next Batman movie, which apparently this person also had mentioned that there is kind of room for more at the end of the Batman, leading us into a potential sequel or a potential franchise of films with Robert Pattinson and Matt Reeves at the helm, of course, with Robert Pattinson playing Batman. And it sounds like this last scene had everyone in the theater going crazy, and I can't wait to see what it's gonna be. I can't wait to see how this movie's gonna end. I hope it's not a cliffhanger, because we've already waited so long for the Batman. I don't want to have something that's a massive cliffhanger where we have to wait even longer for the sequel. If you want to set me up for a sequel, kind of like Batman Begins, show me a Joker card, okay, I'm cool with that, Matt Reeves, but please don't have something in the end where Batman's like, oh my God, and then it cuts to credits. Okay, don't do that to me, please. Okay, so this next tweet was an update provided by Blu-ray Angel, and there are a lot of updates that Blu-ray Angel has put out since that initial thread of the alleged test screening for the Batman. Check the links in the description box below. That's where you guys can follow Blu-ray Angel if you'd like to, because there may be even more updates since the time I post this video. But they put up an update saying, based on what they were told officially, that Batman in this movie does not kill. Their friend told them no, he is against killing. There's a scene where they make that very clear. And again, this has caused some controversy. So let's talk about this. There's a lot of controversy surrounding it, of course, specifically because Ben Affleck's version of Batman did kill, and some people weren't the biggest fan of that, especially because in the comic books, there are decades of history in which Batman has that moral code. He is against killing. He will never kill. And hell, one of my favorite comic book storylines, Batman Under the Red Hood, actually my favorite Batman storyline, involves just that exact message. Him trying to teach Jason Todd, Red Hood, that if he were to go off the deep end, if he were to kill just one time, he could never turn back.
All I've ever wanted to do is kill him. A day doesn't go by when I don't think about subjecting him to every horrendous torture he's dealt out to others, and then end him. But if I do that, if I allow myself to go down into that place, I'll never come back.
And I love that. I think it's some really compelling stuff. However, in my personal opinion, and this is just my opinion, you can disagree with it, I think Batman killing or not killing is always up to the writer. Whoever is putting pen to paper for a Batman story, it is their decision. It is their decision on what Batman does, what choices he makes, whether or not he kills, how much of a detective he is, how much of a martial artist he is, always up to the writer. And I think we, as the audience, as the people who consume this media, should be open to new interpretations. We should always allow a creative to create and be creative. Let a writer do something that's unique. Let them tell a story that's unique. I've seen nonstop, especially since the announcement of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, people complaining about how old it's gotten that we're getting these stories about evil Superman. But at the same time, you flip that coin the other way, how have we not gotten sick of the same exact stories of Superman just being an all-American hero? I get that that is something that is nice, and that hope is great. I love Superman and Lois. I think that is an amazing interpretation of Superman that also takes its own liberties and does unique things. And I think that that's something we should always allow. Even if we don't like it, even if we disagree with it, we should always provide the opportunity for visionaries like Zack Snyder, like Matt Reeves, to tell a story that is their own, that is their unique story, their unique interpretation of what may be iconic characters. Because otherwise, again, we'll be sitting here till we're 90 years old, seeing the same old Batman story play out over and over and over again. Again, that's just my opinion. You can disagree with it if you want, that's totally okay. And if you want, voice your opinion in the comments below, but that's what I think regarding this. And to be honest, I am excited to see what this scene is going to be and what Batman does to make it very clear that he's against killing. Blu-ray Angel says here that apparently Robert Pattinson's Batman narrates the whole movie, which I think is interesting as hell. I hope this ends up being true, because I think the best kind of detective films or noir style movies, movies just that involve a mystery, they have that narration in there. So they're providing that little flavor to the Batman, which I think is great if that ends up being true. I'm excited about the idea of being in the Batman's head, hearing what he is thinking about when he's trying to solve these crimes, when he's uncovering the mystery of the Riddler. I think that's great. Apparently the fight scenes are great as well. There are lots of them. Quote here, the Catwoman ones were my absolute fave. Zoe Kravitz really pops off. I was surprised. Alfred apparently has a pretty significant role, and there's blood in the movie, teetering between thriller and horror. This all sounds like perfect to me. I am crossing my fingers that this is all true. Now, the last thing that I wanted to go over in this video was an update provided by Blu-ray Angel, in which they asked their source about a comparison between Heath Ledger's Joker and Paul Dano as the Riddler, and this is what their source had to say. Heath was a lunatic in a very extroverted way, which I think is a good description of his character. The Riddler is very angry at the world for not being loved with too much knowledge. He streams online, locks himself in, and plans strategic killings. This sounds very intriguing to me. I definitely want to see what the character study is going to be like here on the Riddler. The Riddler can be a weird character in the comic books. I think the Batman Arkham games decided to go a little more in the goofy route for the character, make him a bit more fun, someone that you do hate because those Riddler trophies are hard to get, but at the end of the day, he isn't sort of a psycho killer like he would be in this film. And then you have something like Jim Carrey's Riddler, which is very much on the goofy side, meant to be a sort of kids movie interpretation of the character, whereas this film is going to make the Riddler kind of that psycho, that guy where, hey, imagine someone with the knowledge of the Riddler, and imagine if that someone became a serial killer. It's terrifying, actually, and I bet that this movie is going to delve deep into that. So I'm interested to see what that's going to be like. It sounds like the Riddler is going to be a very intense villain for Batman to go up against. Not someone that he's going to be able to beat up too much, but someone that he really has to rely on his detective skills to take down, which excites me the most about the Batman. With that said, now I want to kick it to you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Based on everything you heard here, what excites you the most about the Batman? I don't know if this test screening is true. Take everything with a grain of salt. Nothing is confirmed, but if it were, hypothetically, what excites you the most? Sound off in the comments. And of course, if you enjoyed today's video, if you could consider leaving a like rating on it, it would show your support, and I would really appreciate it. I'm Caboose, and you can click on screen to make your way to one of the other videos on the channel, or you can click my logo to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Those links are going to be in the description. Drop a like if you enjoyed, leave a comment if you have an opinion, and subscribe if you're new. See you guys later.